Hello, it's Nicola back again with another, well, card. They will be cards, but I'm going to do something a little bit different today, and I hope you like it. So what I've got today is a piece of watercolour paper. This is Arteza watercolour pad. It's cold press, and it's 9 inches by 12 inches, and it's £140 or 300 GSM. So I'm just going to be using one sheet. So here it is. I'm also going to use some masking tape, which I just got from an artist shop, but any masking tape I think should do it. You don't want it too wide. This is, let's measure, about 3/4 of an inch or just under 2 centimetres wide. I've marked along the 12-inch length. Just make sure I'm in shot. So along the 12-inch length, I've marked it at 3-inch intervals. So I've got 4 sections. I've marked it top and bottom because I'm going to use those marks to put my tape on. And then I've marked the middle on each end as well, so that I can put tape across there. And I will also do tape around the edges. So what I'm going to do is get my, if I turn it around this way, so there's one mark, the other mark, and I'm going to just put this tape on so that those marks are halfway across the tape, if that makes any sense. So roughly I'm looking at my pencil mark, and I'm trying to get it by eye roughly in the middle of that tape. So that's one done. I'm going to do the same across the other bits, and I will do exactly the same down the middle as well. Now for the outsides, what's going to happen is when I've done my paint, which I'll come to in a minute, I will end up cutting these into sections. So I'll be cutting roughly where the pencil mark is, which is halfway down the tape. Tape will come off before I do that. But that means that round the outside of the whole sheet, I need to have masking tape, which is about half of the width of the masking tape. So that's what I'm just going to do now, is try and get my corners about halfway along. Right, I'm back again, and as you can see, I've got my grid all marked out now. I've got some different paint brushes because I'm not quite sure what I'll be wanting. I've got 2 pots of water, one for clean and one for dirty. Water sprayer. And I've got these metallic copper, different gold, silver and things, shiny metallic watercolour paints. They were cheap and cheerful somewhere a very long time ago. It says Art Sensations, but I'm fairly certain you can get them somewhere, Amazon or some such. I've also got watercolours. These are my Arteza ones. Brand is Stabilo. These are woodies. They're meant for children, I have to say. Wouldn't personally waste them on children. I think they're amazing. You can, they're like a sort of almost like a cross between a coloured pencil, a crayon, and a watercolour. So they are water reactive, and they're amazing things, to be quite honest. So we shall use some of those as well. So what I want to do is create some different backgrounds. No skill required for this, so there is no need to worry if you are non-artistic, because I'm non-artistic. I'm going to do some sort of darker, moodier ones and some brighter ones, I think. So to start with, you just get a bit of water going on the paper. And because I can't fit everything in screen, I'm just wetting my darker colour blues, especially that indigo paints. So I'm sorry they're not on screen, but there's not much I can do to increase the space. And then I'm just going to drop some colour in there and a bit of water. It will all dry lighter when the time comes. And I basically just want to colour each of my little panels. Just slop plenty of water on. They are watercolour, and the name gives you the clue. I'm going to put in some of this copper, so I'll just get a bit of wet going on in that. Might go for some of that lighter one as well. In fact, that might be a better option. Drop it in and see. But I want plenty of water. Not that I want it to go underneath the masking tape, but I just want it to do what it wants to do, because you often get the best results that way. A bit more of the blue. Now with the woodies, you can get them wet and then use them, or you can scribble them on and then wet them. It's really up to you. So let's go for a bit of, let's try this. Like I say, absolutely no skill required. Let's try wetting that. So with some clean water, we'll just get dolloping in the water, and we can start spreading that colour around. So you can do it by spraying the water in. So you can still see the scribble marks. So if I just agitate those a little bit, and if you find that your paper, your watercolour paper, keeps those marks there and you don't want to be seeing them, then do it the other way. Get it wet first, and in fact what we could do is try that and just see what different result we get. This will gradually sort itself out, I think. But let's try doing it the other way. We'll go the same colours just so that we can do a proper compare. And where did I... There. So that then starts to move about better than this has. I can take this smaller brush in, and that actually probably helps those lines to dissipate. Come back to that in a minute. So it's whatever you prefer to do, really. So let's get a bit more. And the other way you can do it is just get paint off that and drop that in. Right, those are now dry, or just about. So now it's time to just peel off very carefully the tape. Now, because I've been using my heat tool to dry it, I'm hoping that that has given enough heat for me to remove this tape without it ripping the paper. Some watercolour papers are better to take this tape off than others. But hopefully with that bit of heat, just do it a bit at a time, very carefully. And if you do start to rip like I did at the beginning, then just push it back down and pull the tape from the other direction, and then just remember to go back with a spot of glue and stick that bit down. Hello, I'm back again. It's another day and my little cards have all dried up, and I've taken the tape off and cut them up into separate pieces. So I'll do a quick run through. That's one, sort of a lilac-y type colour. Those were my two moody ones. Then these were the brighter, lighter ones. This one was the woodies. These two were watercolours. These were the woodies ones as well. They came out brighter, so it just depends how much pigment you put in there and how it all works. But I think they're really pretty, and there are lots of ways you can go with these. I also couldn't quite resist. I found a bit of this Tonic Studios A4 watercolour card, and I had some offcuts like this, so I used one of them and I created what to me looked like a sort of Christmassy background with greens and gold. So I will come to those. Whilst I'm just talking about different watercolour card, both watercolour cards, but you can see the difference in colour is quite marked. Where I use this colour of card for my card making, you can see quite a difference in colour compared to this Tonic Studios one. So that was the Arteza one. This is the Tonic Studios one, which is much more similar. So if things like that bother you, there are ways around it. I'll come to that in a second. But you could just be mindful of what watercolour your card you're buying or using and marry it up better than that. However, if you have got very different looks to your card, colours, you can disguise it to a point by doing a little mount. So that, for example, hides it to a point, so that it might be less distressing or what have you for your eye. So black is an option. I mean, you could use any colour really, couldn't you? Gold is another option. Or you could do the trick of taking a ruler and a gold pen and just marking around the outside, or black pen if you want. Let's get back on to the decorating part of it. I'll come to those Christmassy type ones in a minute. So thinking about these ones, and whichever ones I want to think, I've got various stamps, so you can absolutely stamp something on there, or you could hand draw. Depends, it's up to you. My ability to draw is strictly limited. I can do a stick man, but he has to be, or she has to be, standing pretty straight. However, I can just about manage to draw a leaf. This lavender one, I thought, oh, actually, that would be ideal. So I'm going to use that one for that. Then I've got these ones, rare earth stamps, which I got a long time ago with Crafts Beautiful magazine. So some of these solid ones are quite interesting, as opposed to the indigo blue, which is an outline. So we'll see how that goes, whether it stands out enough against the card. We will find out. So any kind of stamp like this you can use, or as I say, you know, you can just draw. So let's try this one first. Given that I've already made a decision, then let's try the indigo blue. There we are. And I'm just going to use VersaFine pigmented onyx black. Ink up my stamp. I'm only doing it once, which is possibly a mistake, so we'll find out. Because I've got the watercolour card, it could well be... Oh, do you know what? I haven't used this stamp before. Sorry, I'm diverting myself. Because it's got texture, because it's watercolour, it probably would be better in the stamping platform. I'm just seeing the ink beading up on here, and I haven't used it. So what I do need to do, I'm just going to clean that off, and then rubbing the cloth over it should just take that manufacturing residue off. I'll give it a wipe over with my fingers as well, because the oils from your hand also help. Now then, do I do... Well, let's try it. I was going to say, shall I do stamping platform? But let's just try it and see how we get on. And my mistake can be your avoiding the mistake option. Which way up do I want? I think I should go that way up. I'm just going to go sideways with it because it's easier for me to see what I'm doing. I'm trying to go fairly central. Fingers crossed. Now, I'm going to hold it there for a moment. Particularly without using the stamping platform, you need to give it time for the ink just to settle into that watercolour paper. So I'm just going to hold it there for a minute and sing a happy tune. No, I won't sing. I won't do that to you. Okay, moment of truth. Here we go. That's not bad. Not bad. It's interesting, it doesn't stick, as you would expect really, so well to the metallic. But the fact is you can always go over it with a fine liner pen if needs be. But that's not come out too badly. So you can do something as simple as that. You could also do your own thing. Here are some that I made on a previous occasion. And these are actually, I have drawn these in myself. And actually these ones I added a bit of spatter, as you can see. So that's another option you could do. That one, some drawn and some is stamped. So that's another option. So lots of ways to do it. I think I'll just do something fairly simple. Actually, I do quite like this one. Let's have a go and see if I can do it again. Might not be able to. I've got these Kuretake Zig acid-free archival quality pigment ink pens. I've got them in different thicknesses. So that was a super fine one. We won't use that one. And if you're not sure, just have a look. That's a bit of a chunky monkey. That's not too bad. Probably go for that one, which is the 05. So I'm going to just leave that there for me to kind of have a go at copying-ish. So central, and remember when you draw your line, you can go over it again. So if it's all wonky or too fine, just add a bit of thickness to it. So I'm just going to go straight up. Hey, if I can do it, anybody can. You can do any design, therefore, on any of your artwork. These ones are nice and easy to do as well. Literally line down the middle, do a little sort of oval shape for these bulrushes, and then little leaves which you could colour in or not, as the case may be. A few little black splatters. Job done. And it's a great way to mass make, especially if you want to give things like a few little gift cards together in a pack as a gift, or to sell them, I suppose, or what have you. Then the only thing about selling is obviously just be careful if there's an angel policy on products that you print. Obviously, if you're drawing your own thing, then, you know, it's your come out of your head, so you can do what you want then. And I'm going to come to those Christmas ones as well in a minute. So what you can do, as I say, because I've got a difference in colour, I think what I will do is mount them. So those are ready to go onto a card, and because, as I say, I'm going to give these as a little gift, I will stick them down flat and I won't put a sentiment on. And then blank cards are great because they're so useful, you can use them for anything then. But that is the final finished card. I'm going to hold it up and hope that I can capture some of that iridescence from the metallic paint. And likewise on that one. The Christmassy one, I thought I would actually do gold heat embossed, and I got my stuff ready. What did I do with it? Oh, here we are. Well, here's some of it. I don't know what I did with my wreath I was going to use. I'm back again. I realised I didn't show you a solid stamped one, so I thought I'd do that, and I failed to set record to start with, so apologies. I've just stamped this one here. As you can see, I've gone off the edge, which I think is quite a fantastic look sometimes. It just adds a bit more. Just see if that's got enough. Yes, I think that's got enough ink on it. And I'm going to put it there, I think. There we are. Again, holding it still, holding it so that it's got time to soak into that card a little bit. Okay, little dragonflies, you can go next. Of course, you could heat emboss, which is what I'm going to do actually with my little Christmassy one. Okay, let's have you two. I think we'll have you two up there and just going off the card a little bit. Well, not right off, but you know, off the painted bit. Hold them there for a mo. Ah. Good. So that's another one done. Obviously, a little mount on that before it then goes onto a card, but you don't need to see me do that. So that's another one done. Put that out of the way. Right, Christmas. Let's do a little Christmas one. And I found this wreath. I'll show you the set in a second. So you might have it, but it is an old one from, where is it? A freebie from a magazine, Classic Christmas. Honestly, any wreath would do, or you could create your own little wreath by stamping something round and round. Anything would do. So this is little stars, and I'm going to heat emboss. Oh, now I've packed away my heat embossing stuff to take to Kenilworth at the weekend. Christine Stokes is doing a demonstration at Kenilworth in the UK on Saturday the 18th of October 2025, and it's Christine and friend, and I am going to be her friend. Well, I am already her friend, if that makes sense. But you know what I mean. I am going to be the friend who does a demonstration with her on Saturday, so that's going to be really good fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So let's see, that's going to go on there, but I will just stop while I find the stuff. Not used this, oopsie daisy, before, although Versamark does tend to condition stamps. I'm doing brave or stupid thing of doing it on a stamping block and not doing it in my stamping platform, so it's probably a big mistake. The stamping platform's in a box ready to go to Kenilworth as well. Right, I'm going to do it lower down than the middle because I want to try and do a bow at the top somehow. Right, because I've done it this way, I'm just going to give it extra time and extra pressure. Right, fingers crossed. Right, moment of truth. Use the Wow metallic gold rich pale, super fine. Right, back again. That's now heat embossed. So we'd like a little bit of wording. I think there's a little small one in here. This again is another freebie. Ooh. It says, have a wonderful Christmas. So that could go in the middle. And it's also got little holly and berries. So rather than a ribbon, I'm trying to draw that on there, which might be a bit of a challenge. I think holly and berries might be rather nice just to go up here. Whether to do once or twice. Let's try that. Let's do it once at an angle and then just see what we think. Let's just put, I'm just going to put black onto it. Oh, again, that seems to be beading up, so I'm just going to wipe it off, wipe the fingers over it and just go again. And then before I press it down, I'm just going to look. You can use I mean, I could do that, but there's so many others so close that it's hard to tell what I think. So now it's on there without putting it down. I think it might overpower it if I have too much, so I'm going to go for one stamp there, then hold it again. All right, I'll let that dry, and it might be that I do a little bit of colouring on that. Because I've gone black for that outline, I think I'm just going to do this in black. It has gone splodgy, hasn't it? I'm going to have to do something else. I'll do it off camera, I think. These are 3D Pearl Effects by Dovecraft, and the colour is red. Well, that's handy, isn't it? I think I might use that for my little berries. So I'm going to do that. Oh. 1, 2, and 3. I will need to let that dry and see how it looks when I've done it. And I will have a go at something else with this. And I'll be back. Right, I am back again, and I have finally done something with this Christmassy one. So we had the embossing underneath here, which I didn't like. So I printed Merry and Bright and heat embossed it. Just put a bit of heat embossing on the ends by running the Versamark on the fishtails I created. Ran the Versamark around the outside edge as well, so that it just got a little bit of definition to that edge. So that's all now finished. I coloured in the holly with this hybrid grip gel pen in green, and just went round the outside again with the Posca, but just literally followed the lines of the stamp. And we already did the Dovecraft 3D Pearl effects, but I just popped a little bit more over the top because I've got a bit of black on it, to be honest with you. So that's that. All of the embossing was done with the Wow Metallic Gold Rich Pale. So now we have, if I clear the decks, 4 finished cards. Extra Christmas bonus one, the outline stamped one, the hand-drawn one, and the solid stamped one. I did go over with my very fine, I think it was the 03 I used, Kuretake pen, just to define some of this a little bit more, but not very much of it. So there, if I can make sure I'm up and you can see all of them. As I say, with these ones, I've not put a sentiment on because I'd like to be able to give those as a gift in a little pack together. And I can just stack them up and wrap a ribbon, tie a bow, and there we are. Got a gift ready for action. So, hope you enjoyed today's video. Look forward to seeing some of you in Kenilworth if you're watching this before Kenilworth happens, and if not, I will be back again with another video very soon. Take care, bye.